This is episode 4 of my trombone lessons, and today we're going to learn how to properly take care of your trombone and the different things that you use to take care of your trombone. We have a special guest today, Tanner Collins, and now we're going to get into the video. Okay, to start, I'm going to teach you how to oil your slide properly. And after I show you and him, he's gonna do it so that I can help and fix any issues that you all might have as well. So I'm just gonna, for the purpose of the video, take off the slide from the bell. You don't have to do this. So I can show you all properly how to do it. So the first thing you'll need, obviously, is slide oil. It doesn't have to be this kind of slide oil. Any kind will do. People have somewhat of a misconception that you have to put it all over the slide, but really, the slide only sits on the end of this part where you see like a change in how big the metal is, sort of. There's like a little, you see a line on each side of the slide, and it's a little bigger. The metal grows a little bit, and that's where your slide sits. So really you only need to put oil there so that your slide slides well. Unless you don't take care of your horn and you have bumps on your slide. If you have bumps on the slide, then sometimes you do have to oil the whole thing. But if your horn is in good condition, you really only need to put oil here. And I'm telling you that so you don't waste oil up here. So you just put a couple drops on the end of the slide, and then put it back on, and it should start moving better. If you need to put a little more, and you can put it on both sides, so if you need to put a little more, you can.
Isn't there a different way you can do it? I think you can put it. I can get this off. Put it like right there, and it will go down.
You don't want to do that because that can waste. It won't always get all the way down to the bottom.
Okay, so you have to take the whole slide off.
You want to put it down. You don't have to take it all the way off. You can like put it out here and then put it right past the line, but you don't want to put it up here because it won't always reach down there.
Okay.
And that's where the main part of the slide, that's what the slide sits on when it moves.
Alright.
So I'm going to give you this. I want you to try. You don't have to take that off. You can just kind of set it sideways in your lap if you
I
want.
think it would be easier if I just take it off. So.
Okay. So now he's going to try to oil his slide without hurting his horn. So you see those lines that I was talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right there.
Yeah. And then you're just going to put a couple dots. So he's putting a couple drips, and you'll see this on your slide. It's probably hard to see through the camera, but he's putting a couple drips past where the metal gets a little bigger, past these two lines, because that's where the slide sits, and there's no point in putting it here because the slide's bigger than this part, but it fits perfectly onto these, and that's where it slides, okay? So how's that working?
Good.
Better?
Yeah.
Yeah, alright. So that's the slide oiling part. Before we move on from the slide, I'm going to show you the best thing that I have found and other trombones at Williamstown have found for making your slide move smoothly, and that is called Slidomix. Looks like this. The red cap is kind of the indicator, but this stuff is probably the best it's not really oil, it's kind of like a mix between a slide cream and an oil, sort of. It's kind of gooey, and it makes your slide move very, very fast and smooth. So it's the same thing with the oil. You put it on the end of the slide where you would put your oil, but you don't want to do this every day because it's expensive, and two, you don't need to because it'll last for a while. Probably once every 2 weeks, and when your slide gets rough in between there, just use oil.
I had this problem before where I got too much oil, and then my slide would get really tough to move. So I took something and wiped it off to get it off.
Sometimes your slide, especially if you eat food with your horn, but sometimes your slide will get stuff on it that you can't really see, like dust and dirt and stuff, and you will sometimes have to take a rag and hold this, please. You'll have to take a rag and just wipe down the slide, and to get all the dirt and excess off of it, and then reapply oil or Slido mix so that it moves smooth again. But you can't just keep up putting oil on to get rid of the dirt. You have to actually wipe it off at some point. So if you put oil on it or you put Slido mix on it and it's still rough, wipe it down with a rag, not a rough rag, something smooth, soft, clothy like this, or like even sometimes a old t-shirt if you have one. Was that funny? And then reapply your oil the way that I showed you. So now that we know how to oil our slides, we can move on. We're gonna learn how to clean our mouthpieces. So for this, there's all kinds of different mouthpiece cleaners. I'm using Minty Mist because that's what we have in the band room right now. Now this is pretty simple. You just need obviously your mouthpiece and this, and then you can just spray it in there, but it's not gonna get really clean unless you use the mouthpiece scrubber. So you just put a couple squirts in there, just in the top of the mouthpiece. You can go ahead and do that, and then you scrub with this in it, and flip it and put it in the back side of the mouthpiece and do the same thing. And if you want, just try and clean just put it in a little bit and rotate it around the out part of the mouthpiece to really get that part clean as well. Here you go.
The part that's used most.
And after you do that, just kind of take a rag and clean out this part of the mouthpiece. Just wipe that out and blow on it a little bit, wipe it out again, and that'll clean out your mouthpiece for. And these are all light cleaning things. Later on in the video, I'm going to show you all how to give your horn a deep clean. But for now, I'm just going to show you some light cleaning things because you do your light cleaning things for a while, and then every month or so you do the heavy cleaning. So that's how you clean your mouthpiece. Next, I'm going to show you how to grease your tuning slides. So you'll need your bell, and you can just take this part out for right now. And then there are different kinds of tuning slide grease. We have kind of the chapstick tube at the moment, but there's also some circular ones, and you put your finger in it and you just rub it along the slide.
I have some of that, but it doesn't work. I thought it was for the slide. Is it for the?
That stuff is for that, and it does work. It's for there's a couple of those round tubes that say slide cream, and that's actually for your slide, and it works, but you have to have a water bottle or like a water spray bottle, and when you put it on, you spray down your slide with the water real good, and it loosens it up, and you move it, and that's what makes those work.
Alright.